Mm, mm. I think we should call up Newfoundland. Oh my god, what a weekend for Habs fans. Could it get any better? That's just going to be the theme of this video here because I don't think it really could have. The whole fan base is holding hands and singing Kumbaya right now because we're just that happy. And let me tell you, that never happens in this fan base. But we deserve it. It's been a great weekend, and it started by Shea getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. We can now call him a first ballot Hall of Famer. Woo! Let's go. And you know what? This man put his heart and soul into the sport of hockey. The franchise of the Nashville Predators and the franchise of the Montreal Canadiens. What he did to lift the Nashville Predators off their feet as their first captain was something to behold. And he had a reputation all around the league as being nearly impossible to play against. Pain and suffering he would put you through, but he still commanded respect from his opponents and especially his teammates. Then he moves to the Montreal Canadiens in a controversial trade, and the C gets bestowed onto his jersey. And he did a fantastic job mentoring our young players and prospects through a reset and then through an epic cup run to all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And let me tell you, his impact on the franchise will be felt forever. And I'm so happy that he has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Shea, his family. And what a moment. What an absolute moment. And it queued up what would go down as, I think, one of the best drafts this Habs team has seen in a long time. From a bunch of different angles. Not only the prospects that we got, but like I mentioned, the fan base was brought together. We started by drafting Russian forward Ivan Demidov with the 5th overall pick in the 2024 draft. A winger who has an unbelievable amount of skill and talent and hockey IQ and a good head on his shoulders to go with all of that. He combines it all to be a strong athlete over in Russia. He's got 1 year left on his KHL contract, so it's looking like he likely will not join the Habs this upcoming season. But you know what? I think that's a blessing in disguise. You can take your time with him, a skilled forward. He can remain in his home country for an additional year and then join the Canadiens in the North American setting after next season. And you know what? The Habs might be more ready to add in his level of skill into the team after an additional season gets played through here, and maybe they get their defensive game, their structural game tightened up and solid before we add this level of creativity and nastiness to this Habs forward core. This is the superstar that the Habs have needed for a long time, and I think it's the highest talented player this team has drafted in decades upon decades. Then they follow up the Demidov pick by taking Michael Hage out of the USHL Chicago Steel. Lifelong Habs fan. Unfortunately, been through quite a bit of tragedy the last year. Very, very unfortunate accident. I'm sure you guys all heard of it. His father, unfortunately, passed away in at a house party, swimming pool accident, something like that. Just absolutely horrible. But everything came together for this family. He gets drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, a top-notch organization that I'm sure is going to help this prospect get through some of the struggles he may face, but put a focus on hockey for this young man, which I'm sure he and his father and his family would appreciate. He's going to have a pretty intense chip on his shoulder, especially now that he's been drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. He'll want to succeed, and he looks good out there on the ice for the Chicago Steel. A skilled forward, plays on both sides of the puck, and he's got hands. He can skate well. It's going to be very exciting to add another player like this into our prospect pool. A center, so add that depth into the center area of our prospect pool. And speaking of center prospects and former NHL centers, the Canadiens draft Atos Koivu. Like I mentioned, how could this draft go any better? We add the son of former captain Saku Koivu to this roster. I think it's always a good idea to add players that have that pedigree and that connection to the NHL. He has someone in his life who has been through it, been through exactly what he's trying to do. So I think that is very cool, and just the fact that we can now have that connection again with Saku and the Montreal Canadiens is pretty sweet too. He provided me with a lot of childhood memories watching the Canadiens. He had a never quit attitude, and he was an inspiration, like many Montreal Canadiens have been to me over the years. And yeah, very exciting pick. Like I mentioned, this was a fantastic weekend for the Montreal Canadiens, and I say that despite them not being active really at all in the free agent frenzy. There were guys available like Stamkos, Marchessault. Apparently the Habs were close on Marchessault, but the Habs didn't want to go with too much term. Same with Stamkos. I don't think they were in on him, but again, Stamkos ended up with term, and the Habs are trying to avoid that. You know what? I think that was an absolutely fantastic decision by Kent Hughes and the management team. We don't need to be ruining the internal cap structure that this team has built over many years and has strengthened now with the Slafkovsky extension. Signing him to a long-term 8 years, the maximum length, under $8 million. I never in a million years would have thought that would happen. I had hopes for it. I had my fingers crossed because of the Suzuki contract, and then Caulfield also kind of falling in that same line, that same AAV amount at the 8 million mark. I had hope, but I did not think that it would actually happen. And the fact that it did is is just amazing. To have these three guys who will be core pieces for this team for many years locked up through their primes under 23 minutes. It's just like, this is how you do it. This is how you build a team to win a championship. The culture that has been formulated in this room for the Montreal Canadiens is nothing but impressive. And I'm honored to be a fan of them and to watch it, because what they're going to do with the prospect pool that they've built up, the young core of NHL talent that they have put a real onus on developing, and now the cap structure is falling in place with the salary cap going up, is just amazing. It's honestly amazing, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about what this team could potentially become. I honestly think a window is about to open for this Canadiens team, and I don't think it's going to close for a very, very long time. All that we need to happen right now is we need for these young players to gain more experience, especially our defensemen, get a little bit older, get a little bit more, real seasoned NHL tough hockey, playoff hockey experience. Getting into the playoffs and going through some of those battles would be very beneficial to this core. And I honestly think that is going to be not only the goal for next season for this franchise, but the expectation internally. Playoffs or bust, because they are at a point where they need to take a very significant step forward. It'll start by staying healthy. We need to stay healthy. We were in the race quite a bit last year. We were a little behind in the race, but we were in it. We got to stay healthy. This team's got to gain a little bit more, I keep saying experience, but that's what they need. And they'll be on the right path. Stanley Cup rings, may have to be added to the bookcases and the shelves and the displays soon enough. Because this team will be the one to break the curse and bring the cup back to Canada. Finally. Ugh. Now, if you like the look of this shirt and you happen to want one yourself, good news. They're on my Etsy store and you can grab one for just $18. There's a white version as well. Now, this means something to me and it can mean whatever you would like it to. But I'm the Scotian Canadien and I'm brought to you by nothing. Go Habs, go baby. Woo! I think we should call up Newfoundland.
Hello.
Chunky, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man?
Oh, not too much, man. How's your evening?
Sipping on a couple of beers there. What about yourself?
Dude, exactly the same. Had a little bit of whiskey in there, too. Yeah, not too bad of a day, man. We're on like a boil advisory right now, so none of us out in Halifax can drink water. Tap water, anyway.
Oh, so now you gotta drink beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a beer drinking day. For sure, but what a weekend for the Habs, eh?
Oh, man. Unbelievable weekend. So much action.
Dude, like, I don't know if it could have gone any better. Honestly.
No, I say the same, man. Like, I mean, at the beginning of the season, like, I thought there was no chance in hell that they'd come out with Demi Dav at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? I just didn't see it as a realistic scenario. I mean, yeah, they were in that ballpark, but still, like, you just never know, do you?
No, you never know. And, like, it was a combination of things, I guess, really. Like, I wasn't expecting them to finish as low as they did. But also, I wasn't really expecting him to drop either. I figured he would be... Like, I figured the Habs would have had to completely tank the season. Million things gone wrong. They finish dead last or second last, and they end up getting second or third pick. He's there, you know? But...
Yeah.
For us to fall where we did, and then still I think it's exactly what we needed, honestly. It's been a while since we've added talent like that.
Beautiful, man. Like, and I don't know about you, but like, I can't even sleep lately, man. I'm just watching Demi Dav highlights nonstop every minute I get, because, like you said, there's so much hype around him, and I don't know. This is gonna sound crazy, but I don't know if I've ever been hyped about a Habs prospect like Demi Dav in my life, man. Like, that's nuts. And I mean, I used to get hyped over everything. Jeez, I was hyped over Kyle Chipchura and Jason Ward, for God's sake.
Alex Galchenyuk, right?
Level.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is a whole new level, and I think it speaks to the talent that's available now in the top 5, top 7, you know? It used to be that you had to get the first or second pick to get a player like this, but now it just seems like each year there's more and more, you know, elite level, potentially. I don't like throwing around the word generational, because then it gets overused and it takes away the weight of it. But I mean, the kids these days are just insane. Like Demidov's edges and how he can make decisions, like, and see plays open up for him and then act on it, like, within milliseconds, and just put it all together. It's all I can think about is him and Lane Hudson, like, just confusing the shit out of a opposition D, and then you got pick your poison finisher, you know, Slav, Caulfield, Suzuki, whatever, right?
It's gonna be hypnotizing for the opponent, for sure. And a cool thing too, like, you look at Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, like, this guy could put him right over the edge. We're always talking about not having a 50-goal scorer. And I mean, having a guy like Demi Dav on that line can potentially turn a guy like Caulfield into a 50-goal scorer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that, not just that, man. Slav extends like a nut. Like, this how we have this core locked up for this slittle of dollar, like 3 whole players for what is it, under 23 mil?
Ain't it beautiful?
Like that is how you build a team. And it seems like these guys are doing it for each other. It's a common goal.
You're bought in, man. Remember Brad Marchand back in the day talking about his contracts with Boston? It was more about winning, right? It was a winning culture. And I don't know, I just look at a guy like Nick Suzuki, setting a great example, captain of the team, takes a contract, for a good contract. Caulfield comes in slightly under him, and now Slavkovsky too, coming in slightly under. Like, amazing work.
Unreal. I would have never thought Slav would have came in under both of those guys. Like, after seeing what he did the last half of the season there, I was thinking it would be hard to get him long term at a good dollar value. I mean, I was hopeful because of like his personality and his buy-in to the team. But yeah, I mean, I guess it goes to show you too, like swapping back to our new prospect. The Habs skipped on Michkov for a reason, and I'm sure they didn't take a decision like that lightly, but they ended up getting their guy in the end, who apparently has the better head on his shoulders. I mean, these guys are kids. Who knows what their careers will pan out to be, but I mean, maybe that's part of it with Demidov too. Like, maybe he's a guy that will buy in to what the Habs are building in terms of the team chemistry and the common goal.
Nick Bobrov, man. Nick Bobrov done an incredible job. Went over there, had meals with the family, studied him, seen how much ketchup he puts on his French fries, right down to what color underwear he wears. It was an incredible job by Bobrov. And, I mean, that was their pick. Kent Hughes said even if it was number 2, they would have taken him.
Wow, that's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
So it makes you think about like what the other teams had in mind or what they think of the guys that they got. I mean, we don't have to get into it too much because it's not Habs specific, but I guess it goes back to all the talent that's just available at the top of the draft. Teams maybe would you say maybe, like, I don't think this is what our case would be, but let's say Chicago, for example, they go after the D on purpose. Let's get the best defenseman in the draft. Kind of like maybe what Habs did last year with Reinbacher. You know what I mean? Like drafting for positional need because that top 5, top 10, if you stretch it, is that good?
That's what I feel like they did. I feel like they went after positional need for sure with Leibschnab. And I mean, he's going to be a beauty for sure. He's going to be a really good player. But I find it incredible, man, that Demidov was lifted. Did you see the look on Seneca's face when he got picked?
That was amazing, eh? That'll go down as just a historic draft moment, eh? That was pretty cool. And as soon as that happened, like, it was like, holy shit, we're getting Lidstrom or Demidov. Like, how do we not? Like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. I know, man. And like, it's not very often either where like Habs Twitter or just Habs Reddit, everyone in general is like in kumbaya mode, but I feel like everybody was on board with that pick.
Absolutely, man. And honestly, that the fan base deserves it to have a come together moment, because there's been, dude, the fucking controversial picks that this team has gone through, and like, there's just been so many different takes on how the team should build or what the focus should be or who they should pick or whatever, right? And it's like, finally, it seems like this one, everyone's on board with. And maybe it makes the rest of what's happened in the past a little easier to swallow. I was hesitant about Reinbacher when they picked him. I'm probably still hesitant about it, but I also, over the last couple years, have gained a lot of faith in what this management group is doing.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. So I think it's not often you see a fan base, get that type of moment, right? So it's pretty cool.
It was awesome, man. And last year, like you said, man, with the Reinbacher pick, I was the same way. I was skeptical at the beginning, and still a little skeptical now. But I feel like it's all gonna work out good in the end. And I mean, that's all you can ask for. Everybody's patience is just dwindling away as the rebuild goes on. Obviously, everybody wants to see the team win it again, but I feel like they're on the right track, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, dude, this has been marinating for a long time. I think the totality of this build isn't something that just... I mean, because it looks so good right now, like, and I have no doubt in my mind saying that, like, I hate to even bring it up, but fucking Edmonton and that heartbreak, that was brutal, man. I thought for once, finally, here, a Canadian team that I actually don't mind, you know, that is not a rival, is going to potentially end this streak here. And, you know, the 3 wins and then they blow it. Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that the Canadiens, maybe it was, you know, faith that they're the ones that will break the curse, because I seriously think that's the path that this team's on. Seriously, dude, because, and it doesn't just happen. We're looking at it now in the present, but there's been a lot that's happened to breed the culture in that room, the professionalism, the leadership that is, you know, it's from the top down, you know, and to have the MSLs in the locker room and LeCavalier around, and, you know, the leadership of Suzuki, you know, mentored from now first ballot Hall of Famer Shea Weber. It's all of these things were done in a very calculated manner, and dude, it's been marinating, but it's time to cook, dude. It's time to fucking cook.
I think so too, man. You could just see all the pieces of the puzzle just falling into place, and I mean, even you look at the patience of Kent Hughes yesterday during free agent frenzy. I mean, some of those contracts, man, were just dog shit. Holy smokes! Like,
unbelievable.
The term. I mean, if the cap hit wasn't too bad, you bit your ass. That term was just unbelievable, right?
Yeah, I guess
he did a good job.
He really did, and that's another moment where it's like, holy shit, this is usually, I don't know, even when we're supposed to be calm and patient on a free agent day, and fans will lose their shit. Or even if we're active, we didn't fucking pick the right guy. This contract isn't going to age well. I don't know, man. To see everyone just like, okay, he didn't do anything, and everyone's cool with it.
Yeah,
generally, I don't want to say everyone,
knows
but
it's a plan. He's got a plan, man. The guy's cooking for real, and you know, like I was saying yesterday, just because he didn't make one of these outrageous moves on free agent frenzy doesn't mean that he's done during the offseason.
No.
Like, I've got this sneaky feeling. I mean, you look at, they just traded Honda Civic, Kovacevic, for those of you that don't know some of my slang, but yeah, they traded away Honda Civic. There's still a big log jam on the left side, and before next season, I could see at least one more trade where the Canadiens had a guy, a more NHL ready young forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I could definitely see it. It makes me a little nervous. Like I said, I'm starting to have faith in this management group. I feel like it takes a good few years to really get comfortable. I mean, this team, as you know, man, for some reason means a whole hell of a lot to a lot of people, and we sit and like just observe every single move. I find it takes a little bit to really kind of have faith when you look around and you see what other teams are doing, and they're handing out 6-7 year deals to Chris Tanev and Joel Edmondson, and you know, it's hard to, you know, kind of be at ease sometimes in this, you know, place, right? But yeah, dude, forgot where I was going with that.
We treat the Montreal Canadiens like a newborn baby. You know what I mean? And like the general managers, it's like we're letting them hold it. We're letting the general managers hold our newborn baby, and you don't want them to drop it.
Yeah, dude,
exactly.
Exactly. These things can have like such detrimental, effects for the future of the team, and I like that they're they put that first. You see teams like Ottawa. What was that? The whole Chikrin fiasco. Like, talk about just dog shit asset management. I'd be kicking garbage cans all through my house if the Canadiens were out fucking managing assets like that. It's like, so yeah, it's all coming together. It is all coming together.
The Senators, man. That whole management team from top to bottom needs to be in an insane asylum, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, man, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. But yeah, we were there's a lot riding on the success of Suzuki, Kirby Dach, and Alex Newhook down the middle. And I feel like, kind of as you were mentioning about trades and Ken Hughes not being done, what does make me nervous a little bit is the fact that we've got these big defensemen back there with a lot of potential. I mean, I see kind of Jordan Harris maybe as the one that could be tradable, kind of movable, and hold value too, right? But just I hear whispers about Arbor getting moved, and dude, that just makes me cringe a little bit. I do not want to see that man in any other colors.
I can't do it. My kind of guy, right? He's my kind of guy right to the backbone. I just can't even stomach, can't even pretend to see him go. Can't let it happen.
No, not at all, man. It'd be a treat to see. It'd be a treat to see him on a playoff run with the Habs, dude. I think that would be absolutely epic. Just him as part of the whole picture, that aspect of it.
Every year you see it more and more, eh? Like the saying goes, there's players that get you to the playoffs, and there's players that get you through the playoffs. And Arbor Xhekaj is that kind of player. Like, he's not going to make life easy on forwards coming into the Habs zone. That's for sure. Yeah.
And yeah, dude, we can, the other couple things, Michael Hage, 21st overall, that was pretty cool. I mean, again, how could things not have gone any better? We draft diehard Habs fan with our 21st overall pick. He, unfortunately, but matter-of-factly, has a chip on his shoulder because of the tragedy he's been through. I can only imagine the fire he's got under him to play for the Canadiens, and the fact that it all lined up that well for him, and the Habs even went out of their way to trade up to get him. I don't know. That, to me, just another stellar pick by the Canadiens.
Same, man. Incredible story, Michael Hage. Sad story at the same time, and geez, I mean, I've been looking at highlight videos of him too. He's kind of on the back burner. I said it in 2022, you know what I mean? When Slavkovsky got picked first overall, Philip Major was just like on the back burner throughout the entire thing. Like, right. There's never been, like, usually the first round picks for the Canadiens, there's always this, you're on them like a fly on shit for the next few months. But Major just, he was in the back seat. And I mean, now Michael Hage too, but I mean, I've been looking at a lot of highlights of him, and this guy is incredible, man. Really good player. I think he's gonna move the needle for sure.
Well, yeah. Well, like, to put it in perspective, like, what, 7, 8, 10 years ago, whatever it was, we're drafting late 20s, picking Paling and Juleson and who have Shearback, and like all our eyes are on these guys. But now we've got all our eyes on our very high lottery picks, as we should. And the guys who, maybe we, other teams that don't get to draft that high, that's who all their eyes are on. The guy that they picked in the mid to late first round or very late first round, and they're hoping he becomes this impact player. But, I don't know. Again, it just speaks to the asset management of the Canadiens over the last many years to gather up all these picks and have the opportunities to take the guys they want, and to be able to maneuver now to take the guys they want. And speaking of that, again, how could it not go any better than drafting Saku Koivu's son? Like,
oh man, isn't that crazy though? Like, think about that. That makes me feel old, man.
Oh, dude, it's super surreal. Someone shared with that picture of, like, Saku dropping the puck at center ice for a ceremonial puck drop or whatever, and it's like, holy fuck, like, he was retired in that picture, and feels like yesterday he was playing and, knocking the Bruins out.
And now his kid's gonna be potentially playing for the Canadiens, man. And I mean, that's a good pick. That's a feels good pick. Can you imagine the Koivu family right now?
Oh, just absolutely hyped, man.
Oh yeah.
Just like
Dad's just on wheels right now.
Yeah, like to have that, like that would just normally never work out that way. Look at how long it took Max to finally find his way to Toronto. It was inevitable, but he had to, move through some hoops and some obstacles and, kiss our ass for a little bit. And, but, now he's there. But the Koivu family gets to skip all that. And, Saku doesn't have to joyride around on the, whatever the Leafs are calling their fucking home rink now. Doesn't have to joyride around there with his son or anything. So that's a bonus. But yeah, man, it's like, it's surreal. I don't know how this weekend could have gone any better for the Habs, and they didn't make any free agent signings. They got Slav locked up to a steal, and I don't know, made fans very, very happy with their draft picks.
You couldn't ask for a better start, man, for the off season.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be now a long off season, waiting to see what this team can do and together as a one man unit. That we're dying, I guess, waiting for the preseason to start, where we'll have mixed rosters and all that sort of stuff, and then we'll be waiting to see the full lineups. But man, I'm so excited for this team, and I really think that a long window is going to open up here. I could definitely see them being quite competitive this year. I mean, they were just outside by the deadline, and it was once they dealt Monahan when the team really started to go downhill. I remember the just sheer disappointment on Nick Suzuki's face when he found out that trade went down, because the team was just in such a mode to try and kind of force the subject towards the playoffs.
They don't want to lose, right?
No, they don't, and I love that mentality. But yeah, dude, I really think, like, obviously the team won't be in its prime quite yet. Give it another couple years, but let these defensemen gain some more experience and whatnot. But this team's gonna do some damage, man. This team is seriously gonna do some damage.
It is, and I mean, like you were just talking about last season, man. If Kirby Dach doesn't get injured in like his third game of the season,
we might not have Demidov.
Might not have Demidov, but that might have never happened. Crazy.
Yeah, and we'll take it all now, because I just can't fathom adding that level of talent. Like, what excites me the most is that as much as I enjoyed, gritting my teeth and watching this team battle through, defensive, gritty hockey, led by Carey Price and a GM who was building from goalie out, it's fucking can be insufferable too, to have to, like, I don't know. It will be absolutely joyful to comfortably make the playoffs and then have expectations on us that we will do some damage in the playoffs. Enough of this being the underdog shit. It's time to fucking take the reins, play some exciting hockey, but also still have that, that.
You know what I hope?
Grit your
teeth. I hope the first year that the Canadiens make the playoffs now, like, even if it's 2 years from now, let's say 2 years from now they get into a playoff position, I hope their first opponent is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I hope they just mop them. Like, absolutely mop them in the first round.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be beautiful.
That would, oh, dude, that'd be so amazing. It would just set up the rest of the run. Oh, God, it'd be amazing. Well, dude, I don't want to keep you too long. It was good chatting. We'll have to do this again sometime, but, man, again, what a weekend, and go Habs, go, baby.
Go Habs, go.
Have a good one, buddy.
You too.